Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a presentation on the Tamil Nadu Semiconductor Policy. I'd like to invite Ms. Sriramya, the Associate Vice President Guidance, Tamil Nadu, to please come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it up with a round of applause, please. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Firstly, I'll take this opportunity to congratulate all the industry stalwarts, not just the ultra mega scale industries, but even the MSME ecosystem in the state. We have been, as an investment promotion agency, we have been using your efforts, and which resulted in the state scaling up in the ladder as the leader in the electronics exports. So I myself has quoted this term several hundred times. So thank you to the industry for your patience, dynamic actions, adopting to various geopolitical macro level situations, and reinventing yourself, reinventing the industry from time to time. Thanks a lot to the industry. So Elsina wanted me to present the semiconductor policy. What are the various facets? So before that, I want to give you a background. I was involved in drafting the electronics and hardware manufacturing policy, which was released during the 2020 of August. And there I thought maybe may have to revisit this policy after, like, let's say 4 or 5 years. I don't know if I have to say thank you or envy the industry, but the industry is so dynamic that you people have made me to revise the policy within a span of 3 years. So, and again, I'm now thinking on what are the aspects that I should be including in the next policy that I'll be launching. So, to give you some perspective, I need not restate or you can go to the next slide. So most of you here are aware of the ecosystem within the state. So in terms of specific incentives, sure. So in terms of incentivizing industries, our industrial policy and the electronics hardware manufacturing policy focus on few aspects, which we call as the basic parameters of any investment. It would be either the investment size, the employment size that is being created, or whether they are committing to some level of ecosystem which can create localization benefits to the state, and the location in which the investment is coming up. So our usual policies, the incentives usually get scaled up based on these various parameters, and some of the industry stalwarts sitting here have were on the receiving end in terms of the incentives that we have offered. Now, once the government of India has launched the semiconductor policy, we also felt that there is a need that the state government should complement the policy of government of India, especially given the level of inquiries that we had received to set up, let's say, the OSATs or other semiconductor industries, and the growing market in the semiconductor industry. We launched the semiconductor and advanced manufacturing policy recently during the global investor meet. So this is primarily, while we have the extant policies to support the industry at scale, let's say a huge employing industry, or somebody who's into assembly doing at scale. So we have our traditional flexible capital subsidies which support the exporting industries, our turnover based subsidies, which are very well within the realm of our overarching industrial policy or the electronics and hardware manufacturing policy, to suit the specific needs of niche sectors, and also to address the very issue of the dynamic and changing automation and the advanced manufacturing ecosystem. We clubbed together the semiconductor incentives, advanced manufacturing incentives, and also we added the most important aspect, which is, when we talk about automation, people immediately relate that there is some level of job loss. So I need to quote some statement made by Sriramya sir. So he indicated that if automation is leading to job loss, you should see that there is double job that is being created in the diversification process. So to acknowledge that, we also included one more component in the electronics industry, which is our design aspect of it. So the new policy that we launched is covering three industries. One is the semiconductor, the advanced manufacturing, and also the design ecosystem. The incentives have been designed to suit the industry needs in these three categories. Now, very specific to the semiconductor, it's a buzz term as of yesterday. Because we are already flooded with inquiries regarding our incentives as we concluded the Davos visit. So, to be very specific, combining the India Semiconductor Mission and our policy, any investor can avail up to 75% of the capex, and this is the first time both Government of India and the state government of Tamil Nadu is promising the incentives in line with the investment made by the company. So this is a very bold attempt. It can be treated as more like a pari passu, and there is no expectation from the state also to get equity stake in that. I'm sure most of these investors sitting here, to raise every 1 crore from your investment bankers, you need some level of collaterals, you need some level of promise on the equity shares. This policy is a very bold policy. For the first time, I think government of Tamil Nadu, at least in the southern belt, we have come up for the first time in the country to support the investors with more like a pari passu kind of support. So overall 75% is assured as a subsidy, and we really expect investors to respond to this policy and sort of explore what could be the potential expansion or diversification opportunities. So this is one part of it. Apart from this, we are extending the other traditional incentives that we generally offer. It could be the land cost subsidies, or your subsidies for your R&D capex or the prototyping. And most importantly, for the semiconductor space, we have scaled up the usual training subsidies that we will be providing. So there is some amount of the employment subsidies as well, which have been scaled up significantly from our traditional industrial policy, specifically to address the challenges that the industry needs to face. There is some level of training that they may have to undertake. So in-house guidance has undertaken analysis. We looked into the existing semiconductor industry that was operating elsewhere overseas, and we have studied what are the various employment requirement. It could be a maintenance engineer, it could be a high-end electronic system design engineer, various investment, the employment that is required for operating a OSAT or operating a fab industry. And we tried to map to what extent Tamil Nadu can support this requirement. Like, let's say one particular industry, semiconductor industry, wants to set up an OSAT or a fab, usual fab. It is surprising to us. I would want to share this information if anybody is really keen to sort of explore the state. Some of these segments have close to about 3.5 lakh working population. So these workers, qualified workers, are now working in various other spectrums of the electronics industry. So there is a readily available talent pool for semiconductor industry to set operations within the state. And equally, the state government is promising to be patient enough along with the investor to see the industry scaling up and commencing operations within the state. So this is something that I wanted to highlight, which is the USP of our recent policy. And apart from that, there is the advanced electronics and also the semiconductor design part of it. I mean, the one thing that which is cost to the company would be, most of these design entities operate on a cost plus margin. The only cost would be your payroll cost. So we are ready to sort of offset some of your payroll costs through payroll linked subsidies that is promised as part of this policy. So I can share this policy documents with you, and then we can sit across to understand, what could be the benefit in terms of your cash flow through our incentives. And the advanced electronics policy. Yes, as a state, we have achieved scale. We are a leader in the exports. The MOU numbers and the employment committed numbers speak the shop floor level employees that we have created. We are nurturing, and now we want to take a leap forward. We want to be the first state in the country to also aspire for value addition, very specifically to start with the electronics segment. Like some of our initial speakers have highlighted, electronics is definitely the fundamental building block. You name automobile. So most of the, we're already an established automobile capital. So the upcoming investments that are coming up, it is a surprise to me that most of them are talking the language of electronics. The ADAS system, even the EV. We have a aerospace and defense corridor. Every investor who's coming up in the aerospace segment, he is talking the language of electronics. So if we address or if we aspire value addition in the electronics segment, we are addressing the value addition at large in most of these industries in that we are targeting. So which is why we started with this bold and aspirational step to give, let's say, up to 100% of the incentive also, if the company is able to commit to a certain level of the value addition at the unit level. So, and we really hope that industries do respond, and this also helps. We try to reduce the threshold levels as well. So this can encourage even large scale players, not just the ultra mega, the mega scale industries. This can support our local industries also to aspire, to increase the value addition at the unit level. Then, that can help. Investments at component level can help expand the ecosystem and truly emerge as the electronics capital of the, not just India, but electronics capital of the world. It might take some years, but definitely we should take that initial step. Yes, the industry is very progressive, continues to be progressive. The state government is also taking all the right steps in the right direction. Now we should aspire to move to become the electronics capital by attracting the component, the basic material manufacturers, the component manufacturers. And no longer we are in a stage to call electronics as a sunrise sector. We should now become the PCB capital. We should now target the individual, segments, and then we should come up. I really request Elsina's support, in coming up with more futuristic electronics policy. So this is one part of it, and the other most important aspect is, this is where I need support from Elsina and some of the local established industries. Please support, upcoming FDI players, have, some tours of the IIT Madras ecosystem. So the IIT Madras, the testing facilities and all that you were mentioning, sir. So I think when I had discussions with some of these semiconductor players, they were mentioning that the top leaders in most of the semiconductor industry, they have some root in the IIT Madras. So please plan for some tours of the IIT Madras ecosystem. We have also detailed that a lot in the new policy that we have launched. So that is one part of it, and very specifically work with the universities in Tamil Nadu. You will be amazed to see the kind of dynamic ecosystem that we have even within the universities. The likes of the Intels already have their labs within some of our established private universities as well, not just the government universities. Just excuse me, I really plan to have some kind of an academia industry, kind of a round table as part of this event. But considering this time period is in the middle of two vacations, Pongal vacation, and then we have Republic Day vacation, we really couldn't plan for it. Of course, even students need some kind of a break. But we want to work with Elsina in this kind of an academia industry round table. Your future, the state's future is there in the universities of Tamil Nadu. We should sort of spin it around and see to it that that works to your advantage and the advantage of the state. And also want to reinstate not just the incentives. We don't want to become like a state who's in the race to bottom. It is definitely there, it was there, and it continues to be there. We want to focus more on the ecosystem creation, supporting you with the right kind of the talent pool. The work lab cell, some of the industries like the First Solar have been very actively engaged with the work lab cell to bring curriculum reforms within the universities. So beyond the incentives also, we want to work with the industry to create the right ecosystem and talent within the state to support the electronics industry, semiconductor industry, and in turn support the overall manufacturing and design industry. Thank you. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, ma'am.